Here we are. Hello, Nancy.
Hello, Danny. I almost said bathrobe, but somehow that sounds weird.
Yeah, but I'm not in a bathrobe. I'm in my cool little fuzzy
I know.
jacket,
It's it's been rainy and cold in California.
except for today.
Mm.
It's like sunny and beautiful.
Oh, well, and I'm keeping you inside, so let's get this show on the road.
Let's get the show on the road. So, thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining in. Please like and subscribe if you haven't to both channels. So, today, what we're going to do is we are going to read on we're going to do 4 months reading on earth energies, the US, Europe, and Australia.
Mhm.
And I'm going to keep talking, and then Nancy Jean's going to talk in a minute. This is basically at least the first one is how Nancy Jean reads her 12-month readings. And she said that she was gonna I'm gonna be getting a 12-month reading for her. And so I said, well, let's show people how you do this because it's fascinating. I got one last year, and it's so cool to go back and look at it, and it's just a little snapshot, but it's really accurate. So I want to thank you for last year, and next year's better be as good as last year's.
Well,
That's
they've
all I have to say.
so far I did a reading for another reader, both you and I know, and I laid out her January was a double wheel of fortune. And then her July was Wheel of Fortune was a double new beginnings. The Fool, I
Double
think.
fool. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow.
And she's making those kind of changes. She's thinking about things. So
Yeah. Well, last year, you left me hanging. Well, not the hanged man, but it was like, oh, this is going to be really good for you in December. You're moving into a whole new area. Let's see where we go. And then you go, oh, but that's the end of the reading. And I go, no, you're going
it's
to
a
have to wait till
12-month
next
reading.
year.
It's not a 13-month reading. And the I don't know how. And I do them in November, December, and if I really get overloaded, pull some into January. I can only do so many of these readings a day.
Yeah.
So if you want to book it, you need to get to my website, www.crystaldirections.com.
I'll put that down below. Or
Okay. And there's a shop. Up in the right-hand corner is a little purple thing. Hit the shop, and in there, I sell the readings. Now, I do not have a calendar that's all set up so you can go pick a day and stuff. When you buy it, it lets me know you're in the mix and I contact you and we arrange it privately because I found out that I don't do well with pre-prescribed calendars. They book people or they double book people and it's a nightmare. I have enough trouble doing it myself, so
okay.
that you can't live with me.
So the way we're going to read this first is let's just do the energies of that are coming in on the world. I've been feeling them a lot. I know you have been feeling them a lot. A ton of us in the community have been feeling them a lot. And we're just getting shifted. We have a lot of people leaving the planet that opens us up in ways that are a little scary, a little freeing, and we're trying to make sense out of what's going on. And so I know that we were talking about the blue light energy that comes in on the Hopi mesas.
Right. And it's an event. It's energy that's coming from the universe to us. And if you think about it, it's blue light, and blue light is communications. It's opening you up. You're going to find your throat chakra just being ripped out. And if you're going to have to speak your piece. You're not going to be able to hide anymore and sort of, you can, but you're going to feel real uncomfortable when you're doing it if you're
Right.
speaking your truth.
So dang, that means I'm gonna start feeling a little more uncomfortable. I can't hide under my rock. But I
Right.
like my rock. I like hiding underneath
But
it.
think about it, Danny. This blue light can find a whole mesa in New Mexico. It can find your rock.
Yeah, find me another one. Um, the other thing too, that when you were talking about that, it's that, and I know that you don't want to get into political, but I am for just 2 minutes. Number one, your show with Scott was phenomenal, and your guest that you had on last,
Mm-hmm.
Sean, so right on. I mean, when I was in real estate, you could do you could do all you wanted on the computer, mailings, phone calls, whatever. It didn't matter. You had to get face to face.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was training real estate agents, and I always said the first appointment you want is a face to face meeting. You don't have to close anything. You don't have to do anything if that's not your style. You just have to get in front of them
Mm-hmm.
so that they can see you and put a name to a face. The
Mm-hmm.
second time, then you better,
Come
you
with the
know,
bullets. Come with the ammo and the information.
yeah, and set another appointment
Mm-hmm.
up so that you can talk about listing and selling their home.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the first thing, you can do them both at the same time, but um, get in front of them, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what Sean was saying. Get in front of the people, and so as we're talking and getting in front of people, which we are, and we're going to be getting in front of people who don't have the same views as us, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
feeling a really strong pull to not being right, but being kind. Just if they have a different view than you, just listen, and you're not going to change their point of view, but you can slowly chip away at it.
You have to be present. If you're not present for the person, you can't learn from them and they can't learn from you.
Yes.
And that's what's really important. And Sean was my business partner, the kind of methodology he uses, except he's so much better in the computer. He can find out so much stuff and follow stuff on databases. It's
Yeah.
unreal. In 4 weeks, they hit close to 40,000 houses in Central Virginia. And 3 of the 4 people I campaigned for won. The one that did not win was the woman who had a large number of gated communities that couldn't get into.
Yeah.
So, and that tells you a lot about.
Yeah.
And there are ways to get in gated communities if you have enough time. They just didn't have the time. But
Right.
it is a good show if you want to see. And also, Sean talks about what can I do as just a person on the streets? Where can I go? Because
Right.
that's what we're going to need in 2024. And that's
But
the end of my talking about politics for the most part.
okay. Well, I'm going to keep going.
Go.
No. So the thing is, with this energy, this new energy that's coming in, the blue light on the
Mm-hmm.
Hopi mesas, the three
Mm-hmm.
mesas that you said was in the Hopi prophecies, that someone told
Mm-hmm.
you that it was. And again, everybody can say something, so do your own research on it. But inside, I know that we're going into some new awareness and new energy
Mm-hmm.
stream. And it's following the earth energies around ley lines. It could be around water lines, karst lines. And I think it's just important to be aware that we are shifting into this. Whether we're tuned in or not, we're going to be affected by it.
Right. And, I'd rather face it aware that it's a possibility. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to accept it whole hog. But what happened to me was I hadn't heard this one woman who saw like the dates and all that. But when I was watching the solar eclipse, which was almost complete over Dallas, and I was out there on the front porch with my little blackout glasses on, looking like a nerd. And I was watching it. All of a sudden, this blue web appeared in that dark void that was all around the sun that was being faded out. And I watched it for a while. It was getting bluer and bluer. And I was going, I wonder if that's just my eyes creating something
Yeah.
because it doesn't like being in the dark.
Right.
So I looked away, took the glasses off, looked around, put them back on. And when I was looking through them looking at the earth, it wasn't there. But as soon as I looked up at the sun, now where they're not just this blue net, but there were these red translucent ribbons of power, energy, not negative energy. They're
Yeah.
red, just very powerful energy coming in. And I said, oh, and then my guide said, oh, that's something that's coming. And I went, oh, thanks. Guys, you could have told me that earlier. But anyway, then I heard this woman talk about it and I realized I put it together with what I saw. And that's what you saw. And so before the Saturday that it hit, we did a little reading we did it on the Saturday, right? It's garden meeting. We rolled in the garden
Yeah.
about it, and we saw, it's here and it's affecting all of us, and it's, everybody's going to get affected at the level they need to get affected at.
Sure.
Now, in my case, I've been being a down in the dumps, sweetie lumps. I forgot to start doing things. I just quit, kind of stopped journaling and doing some different things. And I began to realize I need the way I journal, I'm so lazy. I pick one word. That's my word of the day. And there's a couple different ways I can pick it, but usually I wake up in the morning and like it'll say, one of my words in this week was failure. But then when I look closer at failure, if you don't fail, you don't learn. It means you're not trying it. You're trying things only you know how to do.
Right.
So anyway, did a show on that. But and since I got more into the routine of having those words and, breaking away 3 or 4 times a day to think about that word, that's a meditation,
Sure.
a very poor man's meditation,
Yeah. And the thing is, when you're looking at this, you're looking at the eclipse and you go, oh, is that like a visual trick that my brain is playing? We can rationalize pretty much all this spiritual stuff away.
Oh yeah.
But it's much more fun to accept it and to go, oh, look at that. What is that suggesting? The synchronicities of it, and let you think about that, and then it puts you into a spiritual place meditatively all day long.
Right. And so just, so if you're feeling a little nudged, you can also ask your guides, which I often forget to do, what's going on? They know.
Yeah.
They don't have to volunteer it to us, by the way, guys. They can just say, no, we're going to hold it over here by us,
Sure. All right, let's throw some cards. That's fascinating conversation, if I do say so myself.
Okay, we're in the garden.
Okay, we are back. So we're in the garden, and I got some cards, and we are going to read on earth energies. And this is like the total earth energies. If it makes sense to you, if it resonates with you, take it. And if not, then we'll go, we'll try to do something a little different in the next pull.
Okay. This isn't a pull, this is a throw.
That's a throw. I'm doing a pull. 4 months.
Okay. For those of you who haven't seen the garden before, at the very center is earth, fire, water, and air. And the stones I throw in are body, mind, spirit, grounding, and clarity. And this is a fusite, and it's an earth. And when I view the way earth is viewed in my world and in my mind, and when I work with even earth signs in astrology, I think earth signs are where things start, where they grow, where they build. And when the body, this is the body stone, lands in earth, it says physical changes are coming for us in this next period of time. And since clarity's there, I'm going to read it too. And it says we're going to have many paths presented to us, but we will know the correct ones when we get there. Then
Mm,
mind is in fire. Now, fire represents past lives and our ancestors and past events in our own life and our own physical time on the earth. And our mind is there. And it says, do not become too tied to false energies of the past. That's going to
yeah.
be, we need to consider. And then water is for me how energy moves off the board and it flows away. And our spirit is in water. And
Ooh,
it says the transmutation is completed. We need to learn to accept it. And then the grounding stone is a touch in air, which is mental actions are the path to our own abundance. So paying attention to the signals we're getting through our own mind are important to our own abundance. But it also landed in present. And it says this is a time that values are being purified. So that's your next 3 months, guys. Physical changes are coming. You're going to have a lot of options. Let go of false paths you've had before. Roll with it. It's really going to move us out. We are really changing. There's a lot of rapid changing going on.
really? Okay. Well, and so here's what I got. You just did 3 months?
I did 3 months.
Huh, okay. I did one extra.
Well, that's okay.
But anyway, first card I got is Stargazer,
Ooh,
which this is like set your sights to the skies a little higher. We get caught up in this earthly energy, and there's a lot of different energy that's coming down. We just talked about it with the blue ray energy.
mhm,
So, and it's being crossed by, and I'm using the decks I'm using are Angels and Ancestor and Good Tarot. And this is the Ace of Air. And so set your sights higher, Stargazer. There's something new coming up for
mhm,
us. Something big, something young, something that to me, this feels like it's a little fool type energy, but it's
mhm,
not. But the Ace of Air, it flying out of the cloud off of a rainbow. So
mhm,
yay, yay, yay. Second month, Oracle, wait for information, important information. So as we set our sights up and look for something new that's coming and expect it, it's still not here. We're still waiting on things. And why? Why are we waiting on things? I get the Eight of Air. And in this deck, I look at those feathers that are being dropped, and it feels like you have to let go of something, that we're hanging on to too many of the past issues that you were talking about. The next month, I got Druid. Hold your space. Hold the space. And this old guy with the white beard, and he's got a crystal. It looks like it's a Lemurian quartz crystal on his
mhm,
staff. I mean, I don't know, but it's a knowledge crystal, and it's being covered with the Empress. Um,
mhm.
this is somebody that is giving birth to something new, and it's almost directly. It's not like the Ace of Air, something new. This woman, this Empress, knows her space, knows what she's all about,
Mhm.
and giving birth to something that's going to be exciting for the earth. And
Very
then
good.
since I pulled four, just really quick,
Read it.
she wolf, unleash the wild within.
Oh,
Woohoo! And then we have the Four of Water, which is as we unleash this wild woman
mhm,
within us, we may find that we're on a little unstable ground and we go, oh, I don't know. Is this right? Is this right? We may be feeling a little sorrowful, but this is a gift that the Four of Water is giving us. So take that pearl, take that gift, unleash. This is exciting. This energy that's coming in.
And this is a good time of year to read these months together, because in numerology, these are called the shoulder months. We really start to feel the shift into the new year pattern. We've been in a 7-year, we're going into an 8-year. And 7 years is a lot of introspection, solving problems, looking at things, analyzing. An 8-year is money and power. If you put your act together well enough, you can start to benefit and understand how to use your power. And so in November, we're seeing a lot of things being shaken up and being changed from where they were. And there's a lot of analysis, a lot of finger pointing, a lot of that sort of stuff going on, the negative side of 7. But then as we progress through December, we're closer to the 8 energy, and we'll see more of how we can really create and use it and move forward with it. And I think that's what we're seeing in the stones and in the cards.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do we want to go next on our?
Where are we going? So we're going to do US, Europe, and Australia.
Each separately.
Each separately.
Okay.
So I'm just going to do 3 cards.
Okay, which one are we doing? So I know in my head.
US.
US, okay. And I'll roll out 3 months again.
Next 3 months.
Oh. Okay, so what I've got here is my clarity, which is a sodalite. It doesn't. I know you're thinking all the sodalites I've ever seen are shiny blue. Well, if I put a shiny, smooth stone on this, it rolls off the board. So I used rough stones, but that's a sodalite, and it is in the solar plexus, because all of the outermost ring are the chakras, and in the solar plexus, this says there's more than one way to express your power and move forward. So the U.S. is going to have a lot of different options. And we also have our values are in restate fire and we're going to be dealing with a lot of things from the past that we thought maybe some stuff we thought was gone away. It's not. That's what shows up in the fire. And restate is a funny place in the garden. When I had my vision, when I created that space in the garden, it was like you could tell it had the essence of a garden, but it was all overgrown and weedy. And this is the part when a stone lands there, you have to kind of weed it out. You have to kind of think it through. Think, and rethink. And rethink, and don't be blinded by fool's gold. And fool's gold in the garden means trusting your physical senses more than your spiritual senses. Because, I can hold on to it. Well, it's fool's gold. It's not really what you should be doing. So then,
wait. Did you just say that we should be trusting our physical senses or our spiritual senses?
Spiritual senses.
Okay, got it.
Fool's gold is if I can touch it, it's real. I mean, it looks like gold to me, so I'm going to assume it's gold. You have to really check it out. You have to check and rethink things.
Okay, got it.
And then the body is in fire. And that means there's a lot of what's been in our past that we're going to have to embody, have to learn how to accept so we can finally let it go. And in air is spirit. And that's a good place for spirit. Spirit transforms your thinking. So when your thinking gets bogged down in this mess, in the U.S. in the next couple months, our spirit's going to transform our thinking. And then we go into our mind. And our mind is final thoughts will be coming out of these situations. And how we think about everything's all important. I can't tell you how important I think this stone is in this reading, because what we think is what we put the power in. And that's why if you grab on a thing and say, well, that's how it's always worked, you need to not be doing that with your values. You need to be thinking, go to the crazy thought that's outside the box instead of the fear that you're laden with. A lot of our life and a lot of our thinking is based on fear. And at least the generation I grew up was.
Yeah.
So you kind of need to pull away and say, is that real or is that Memorex? Is it something that's happened before, but it doesn't have to continue to happen in that pattern? So I see the U.S. We're not going to be in a happy space, I don't think, till February, but that's okay. We've lived with worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what'd you get, Danny?
So for the first month, I got the she-wolf again, Unleash the Wild Within. And certainly in the US, we're seeing the wild. We're seeing the crazy that is coming out. And this card is not the crazy, but with the wild, it just seems like it's it's wild. Well, I'll just leave it like that. And it's being crossed or challenged by the King of Air, and this is the King of Swords. So we've got some of this wild behavior that's going on in the U.S., and it's being tempered with the King of Swords. That we do have our legal system that is in full force, full show right now, and that's on top of it. The next month, the second month, and this goes along with what your garden was saying. It's autumn. Release the old and rest. So we have to let go of what isn't serving us anymore. And this isn't a time to grab something new. It's just to let go of it. And that takes a lot of energy in itself. Let's just let go of it a little bit. I don't need it. It's going to be okay. And how do I know it's going to be okay? Well, it's got the star card challenging it or crossing it. So just let it go. Let the star energy, I'm thinking back to the US or to the earth energy, let that star card, that star energy come in. The third month, we have Ignite Your Passion, and this is the Fire Guardian. So with the previous month, we just let go of the old, we're resting. The next month, we're kicking in gear, we're igniting our passions, and that's being covered by the Queen of Earth, which it's abundance. It's tapping also in this deck. It's tapping in to obviously the earth, to hear messages from the earth, as well as sky messages, because she has a set of antlers on. They could be shaman antlers where she's tapping into the earth as well as tapping into Sky Father. So a lot of messages, a lot of passion. But right now we're in She-Wolf area where it's just a little wild.
Okay, good.
All right.
Okay,
So
where are we going to next?
We're going to Europe. And one of the things that Nancy and I talked about, it's a general European reading, but we're not tapping into the wars that are going on, whether they show up or not. But that's not where we're going.
Our intent is to be more universal than that.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Europe's going to make me work. Whenever a stone crosses the line, I have to read all those spaces. Europe's working me.
Yeah, there's a lot going on over there.
Well, it's only making me read 3 of them, so because it laid right on the line.
And is that Earth?
That's body.
Okay, I'm really kind of anxious to hear what you have to say about the Earth stone, where that landed in Europe. But anyway, keep going.
The value stone, the value stone. It landed in past and fire. Yeah, it's not a good place.
Okay,
Okay. Well, there's no such thing as a bad place. It's what we do with.
correct.
But when our body is in solar plexus, restate, and fire, it's also kind of an interesting spot. The Earth is bringing forth. In Europe, there's going to be a lot of show of power. That's what they're going to feel is really important to them, and what they really need to be doing is because they're going to be They're going to be blustery because their options aren't clear. They don't know really which way to go, and they feel themselves sliding into a lot of past behaviors instead of moving forward. And they're feeling like they ought to move forward because their value stone, grounding pyrite, this grounding stone is they need to be looking at the patterns up to now that have helped their values grow and understand what values are needed. And they're also in a point of clarifying. They have to decide what's past and what's now. And they're going to be, it's kind of one of those things where you say, well, that really did work before. And then you compare it to what happened in the past and you decide how well it really worked. But the spirit in Europe is in water and true. And the spirit goes forward. The spirit, if they deal with this from the spiritual point of view, it's going to go forward with some really good harmony. And it's in water. And the spirit in water means a lot of things in Europe have changed. And whether the Europeans recognize that or not is the problem. And then we're going down here we're going to do mind first because it's in earth. And it says final thoughts in this situation will be developed during this time. Because of these other stones that are here, I don't think the clarity will be all right out where we can all see it, but it's going to be there. And our clarity is in air. And it says their thoughts have to be really clear and that there's going to be a lot of different paths because it drips over into earth. There's going to be a lot of different paths for them to follow. But I think Europe's going to be in a more confusing place than we are.
Oh,
I think because it's really going to be looking at our common past and then the common past of all those nations, the EU.
yeah, right,
And
right.
then they also have their what they believe are the private destinies of their countries, which they still feel they have, even though they're part of the EU. So I think it's going to be still a little bit shaky over there.
Right. Yeah, and just exactly what you said. There's so many countries that think that they have you phrased it so well. What'd you say?
They have their own national destiny, despite the fact that part. It's like it's like comparing it to states in the U.S. I live in one of the ones that's sort of an outcast from sensible thinking in Texas. And, Texas couldn't be more different in many ways from California. But yet the people that are in those 2 states, a lot of us have the same goals.
Right. So excellent. Mine is very similar. First month, I got the moon. There's going to be a lot of emotion. There's going to be a lot of things that are coming to the surface in Europe on the first month. And it's going to require, I'm getting a lot of grounding in Europe that the people in Europe are going to need to really ground themselves because of what this moon energy is bringing. And I got the water guardian as a clarifier, covering the moon, which it's interesting for me with this card, the moon card. Um, in the good earth, it um, there is no water, although the moon affects the water. But in a
Mhm.
regular tarot, there's all this water where things are coming out, and then you get the water guardian. So it's kind of like, connect to your emotions, but I heard protect your emotions too. The next month, I got the nine of air, and it is being challenged. And so the nine of air is all about all about worry, and nine of swords, worry, and just being up at night. But this is, in this card, I see this is almost possibilities. What There are certain things that you should focus your attention on, and other things that you shouldn't.
Mhm.
So it kind of has a seven of cups feel to it a
Mhm.
little bit, in picking your right choices in this deck. But it's not a worry card, it's an abundance card to me. And what challenges it or covers it is the shaman card, and this is all about trust in higher forces. This is also a grounding card for me. Shamans really get in touch with the earth. They have one
Mhm.
foot on the earth, one foot in the other realms. So just really make sure that you're grounded in all these choices that are coming your way, not to worry too much. The last month, I get the two of air. Um, Again, these are choices that need to be made, and um, it's being challenged or covered by the air guardian, shifting your perception. So, goes back to what you were saying about hanging on to your past beliefs. You're flipping into some place new, as the whole world is, and letting go of those past beliefs, the things that are creeping out of the water. They're not serving us.
No,
It's time to just
time to grow up.
put your big boy pants on,
Mhm.
hitch them up. Well, not you, Nancy. You can put on your, I
I'm
don't know
not
what.
going to talk. We're not going to discuss that, Dan.
Okay.
You don't know what I look like from the waist down. So, okay.
Your
So that was,
business suit. Okay, so let's look at Australia.
mhm,
Australia.
which has sunny
Down.
weather. And this is the time, one of the things I kept hearing was you need to go out and get grounded. You need to put your feet on the ground. Well, that's all lovely if you're in a place that's warmer, not as warm as we get, because then your feet melt to the ground. But go out and take your shoes off and get grounded to the earth's energy. Well, Australia has a much better chance of doing that in the next 3 months than we do here, especially
Yeah,
if you live much north of me. Then you're sticking your feet in snowbanks. Not a good
yeah. But there's other ways too. You can get grounded in the snow.
thing. Hmm.
Or you can get stuck in the ice.
You
But
can get grounded in the snow. Thank you. No, I don't do that.
um,
You can
I
get
was in
grounded in
I was
that.
in I was in the Dallas airport, and I got stuck. I got grounded for like 24 hours. No, it was 12 hours. I was stuck on an airplane on the tarmac. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
moving
We're
on.
known for that,
Moving on. But
especially
there's other ways. There's
yes,
other ways to ground yourself.
right.
Meditation, listening to binaural beats, grounding, singing bowls, things like that. So
There's a
uh,
lot of ways to do it, guys.
just sticking your hand in a potted plant, working with those.
Oh, I might all die.
All right,
Okay, we're going.
Australia.
Wow. Yeah, Australia's going in a different direction. Oh yeah, they're going in a very different direction. We'll show them. We'll talk about them instead of them always talking about us. Okay, I'm going to start in the first chakra. In the
Okay.
root chakra, I have the clarity stone. Kind cosmic wisdom is needed at this time for you. So this is their summer, and they can look up at the sky, see all kinds of fun things. Now their mind is in solar plexus and heart. It's interesting. Power comes through using your mental forces, and your mind is opening your heart. So their reading's totally different than ours. They're not tossed between two ideas or going backwards, and they have nothing to do with the past. They're totally, none of their stones fell into the past. All their stones fell into moving through air. And their body is helping by grounding itself more closely with the water and moving forward. And it's also grounding its thoughts, just grounding their thoughts. They're going to be really, really tied into the energy of the earth. Their spirit it's transforming their thinking. And way over here in the corner is their values, and its mental actions are the path to their abundance. And they actually don't touch the earth end. So what I see them is they're going to have kind of, I know they had a bad election and didn't vote the indigenous person's bill through, but they are really working on a lot of stuff to clean up their sort of mental national act, get
Hmm.
moving in the right direction. So go Australia.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at my cards as you were talking and going, yep, 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 yep. I got the first month. I got the spring card. Even though I think right now they're kind of in spring. I think.
They're going to
Um,
spring on they go into their hard summer. They're in spring now, aren't they? Yeah, they're in spring now.
so the next 30 days.
They change on the 21st of December, just like we do.
Yeah. So they're watching. They're planting their seeds. They're watching them grow. It is a little grounding with this, but you got this rabbit leaping,
Mm-hmm.
so it's still in the air. I mean, there's
Mm-hmm.
still a lot of airness going on here. The grounding comes with the Six of Earth. So I got two Earth cards, and this grounding. It's all about the way that you watch yourself grow, watch Australia grow, is by giving and receiving. So it's just not receiving, but it's both. So there's a yin and yang with that.
Mm-hmm.
The second month, I got the Druid again with the knowledge, the light, and you were talking about the indigenous constitutional law that did not pass, which just it's unbelievable to me. But when you said that they're working on a lot of things, I think that is going to be changed. Just hang in there. And then you talked about water, and I got the messenger of water. So as this druid holds his space, this indigenous man holds his space, there's going to be some new information that comes from a seahorse. Who knew that may start changing some things. So just be aware of, for me, the messenger of water is letting go of past things, letting go, being healed with water, forgiveness. And that goes back with the giving and receiving. The next month, the third month, is Lord, what does it say down here? Take charge, authority.
Mm-hmm.
So they're moving in a really good direction. And what's clarifying this Lord is working with other people, the Three of Pentacles. So there's other people that are helping bring all of this together. And I can't help but think that that is, the indigenous side that is lending their knowledge and wisdom to this authority figure from the messenger of water.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yay.
Look good for Australia.
Yeah. Crikey.
Crikey.
That's all I got to say. Crikey.
I don't want to run into one of their crocodiles or their alligators or whatever it is they have down there.
Yeah. So, the US is in like this full on Barbie mode. So when they say throw another shrimp on the Barbie, what does that mean? Never mind.
No, I think we can figure that one out.
Okay. All right. All right. All right.
You live by the ocean. You know how to cook seafood.
What's that?
You live by the ocean. You know how to cook seafood.
Yeah. I do. But shrimp is not one of my. I don't do it. I don't eat it.
I'm used to Gulf shrimp, and we get really good fresh Gulf shrimps.
Yeah. All right. We have covered the world. Well, besides, we didn't hit Asia, but next time.
Yeah, we'll do Asia and Africa next time. Africa needs to settle down a little bit.
Yeah, we can just send some light over to Africa.
Yeah. Love and light and seeking enlightenment.
Yeah.
Mercy, kindness, and compassion. Did you want to pull one more card for the world in general, or what did you word?
Sure. The world in general, and I'm going to use my galactic deck.
Well, they see the world as a place in general, out where they are.
do. They do. All right. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for hanging with us. And thank you, Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Is this the perfect card?
Okay.
But I want to see what you get.
I'm going to use the power of surrender deck, and it tells you to surrender to move forward. Since we talked about people having to let go of stuff, we may as well give them a hint.
Might as well. Well, then
Mhm.
I'm going to go first while you pull your card, because I already have mine. Because it just said what you said. I got healing, crisis, and purging, or Ryan present. So we're healing our crises that we think we have, and we're purging them. We're letting them go. And sometimes it's a little scary. Oh, what if I let go of that crisis? Then what am I going to be? What do I have? I don't have my crisis anymore. Well, you've got a new beginning, a new way of looking at things.
And you realize that card, look, it has Orion on it.
Yes.
And that's where the 3 blue rays came from.
Oh, look, it's got a big
three things too. It's got
yeah. All right.
Okay. What I got was surrender your attachments to results. In other words, I'm going to figure out what it needs to be. This is like whenever anything showed up and restate. This is what you do. The formula of success is do all that you can do to make things happen, then let go of the results. Holding on too tight to the desired outcome will only sabotage it.
Yeah.
So don't, go through, weed out the garden and say, I don't think I need this here. And then don't say, but if I get rid of that, I'm going to get this. Just get rid of it.
Just get rid of it. Yeah. And I've been getting that message intuitively a lot for the last 2 weeks. That's been coming into my awareness and in my journaling. I write more than one word, and
that's because I cheat. I do one word, and then I think about it all day long.
Yeah. But that has been coming up. Let go of the results. Don't need them, just, and then kind of be excited at the results.
Give yourself the opportunity to see something new and different.
Yeah.
And the other reason you're getting let go of results is the last 2 eclipses were all about letting go.
Yes.
They were completely about letting go. And they didn't say And if you do, you're going to get that because it doesn't work that way.
No, no.
But anyway, I really enjoyed hopping over to California.
Yeah, thank you. I enjoyed, spending some time well, no.
Anyway,
I like to garden. I like spending time in the garden, but
I like
Texas,
spending time in the garden too. If you're interested in my channel, it's Nancy Jean's Garden. Please go over and subscribe. If you subscribe, you'll find out every time I'm going to be somewhere. And usually I'm on Tuesdays during the day. But right now, like I said, it's the end of the year, and I do 12-month readings with cards, and they're kind of fun. You
oh,
write.
they're great. They're great. And the cool thing about that for me is that when I have when I take notes and I've recorded it, so I can see as you laid them out, I can
Mhm,
just see what month we're at, and I can
mhm,
look back at a certain month. It's easy to find what month you're on.
mhm.
So
And
I like it.
I can't judge what's going to happen for the rest of the readings on out, but the ones I've read so far, it's going to be a real interesting year, a real interesting year of change, and a real interesting year to move on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
come on over and see what's going on. And
See what's going on. All right, everybody. Thank you,
take care.
Nancy.
Thank you, Danny.
All
Appreciate it.
right, bye, everybody.